a mediocre life not to or compared to other people, but a mediocre life compared to yourself, right? Are you living up to your fullest and true potential, or are you just getting by and living with okay? If you're living with okay, what we want to try and focus on here is escaping the mediocre trap and allowing you to actually fulfill and live inside your true potential. And that true potential is living in a life that actually delivers the things that you want. The things that you want inside your body and your fitness, the things that you want inside your work and your relationships, the things that you want inside your friendships and inside your finances. So there's a lot of different areas to look inside of this, not just inside of fitness. But mediocre is not mediocre compared to Bill Gates or compared to your friends over here or compared to someone that you see on the internet. We're not comparing ourselves to others because we are not the same as them. We are ourselves. And we want to make sure that we are not living mediocre compared to our truest potential. So how do you figure this out? And how do you find out a way to move yourself from where you're at to where you want to be and start to align with the person that you need to become to achieve that? First, we want to look at how we can avoid the mediocre trap. And first off, we want to do it in one simple process. So we want to find the things that we do in our life. We want to find the things that are important to us. So maybe it's our fitness. Maybe it's our bank account. Maybe it's in our friendships. And there's a lot more to this, but I'll just go through these three. So what we want to find is first, what is the areas that we want to make sure that we're living to our truest or highest potential in? Let's say our fitness, our bank account, and our friendships. So first off, we need to see where, or do a true evaluation of where we're currently at compared to where we want to be, or what we truly believe is capable. Now, if you have self-limiting beliefs and you don't think that you're capable of something, shut this video off, go watch some of our other videos about mindset and how to overcome your own mental hurdles. But from there, if you guys actually think that you can accomplish great things, which you can, if you let this thing allow you to, you can then do this process. So first, we need to do a true evaluation of where we're at. First, we need to see what we want or where we want to be or what we think is our true capability, and then we work backwards. So for our fitness, let's say that we were looking, maybe I'll just use one of my clients for example. One of my clients wants to lose about 20 pounds. She wants to go from 150 to 130 pounds. Now, right now at 150 pounds, if we were to give her a score of 1 to 10 on the alignment chart, and if she's living inside of her true potential and not just mediocre, if she allows herself to stay where she's at inside of her fitness, she's going to be a 4 out of 10, okay? Now, if we looked at the bank accounts, let's use another perspective here. If we look inside our bank account and we say, hey, I want $100,000 by the end of next year. Well, right now, if I only have $2 in my bank account, I would be maybe like a 1 out of 10. Now, we need to do serious self-reflection because we do not want to lie or fluff these numbers. For most people, when they do this test first, they will overestimate where they're truly at. So here's what I'm going to also have you do. Knock off a point or two, because this downgrades yourself, because we always think a little bit more highly of ourselves and where we're at than where we truly are, right? If you were to do this evaluation on someone else, look at their exact perspective as if it was a mirror of yourself, you would assume or assess them probably lower than you're assessing yourself. So don't give yourself a bias because it's you. Give yourself a truthful answer or number for this. So then in our friendships, let's say, you want to have thriving friendships that everybody texts you every day, or you are able to communicate like you have talked every day for the last 20 years. Right? Let's say inside that friendship, you have this pretty well, and maybe you're actually more like a 6 out of 10. But we need to first evaluate what it is that non-mediocre or excellence in this category would look like, right? So we would then reassess ourselves and we say, hey, we're a 4 out of 10 inside of our fitness, right? So right now that's pretty damn mediocre, right? That's not very good. But if you realize that you are able to do something else that is a much greater potential than where you're at, you're living in mediocrity, right? And the last thing you want to do is be mediocre. We do everything to shine, stand out, and thrive, right? We buy shirts that make people notice us. We buy bags that are $1,200 to $1,500 for some people just so people can get their attention, so they can live above this scale. But what if you don't have to go buy stuff? What if you don't have to go purchase things and have external things, you literally can bring yourself from mediocre activity and actions inside of your life to thriving and excellence in areas that are important and actually deliver happiness for you, right? So that's what this is all about. So we again go back. We say, hey, we're a 4 out of 10 right now. So if I want to get to a 10 out of 10 on my fitness, what is the journey? Here's a 10. Here's a 1. I'm at a 4. How do I get from here to here, right? So if I was looking at fitness, if we go back to our idea of the person that's 150 pounds wanting to go down to 130, this is their goal of 130. That would be their ideal. We're at a 4 at 150. Now, what do I have to do to lose 20 pounds? What is the person I'm going to have to become that person, right? Now, to live non-mediocre, or live in non-mediocrity, you have to fill this gap. What is this gap? Well, to be this person, I'm no longer going to be able to be or do the activities that led me to be this person. The truth is, most people do not change the actions that they do. They expect a different outcome from the actions that they do on a regular basis and then expect change. That is called insanity. So, unless you want to be locked up with a white vest and your hands locked behind your arms, we need to fix that thought process. So, whatever activities I'm doing here are probably not the activities that the person that is a 10 is going to do here. So, what I want to figure out here is what activities would my ideal or great self do, right? So maybe that is to do gym 3 times, plan food, go for walks, not binge, track, nutrition, right? So we've got a couple ideas here. Now these are very vague, but we dive into them a little bit deeper in this real process. So then from here, we look at our activities that are leading us to where we are currently, which is our mediocre state. We then want to figure out what are the first or easiest steps that we can start taking to align with these. So maybe we just look at it and say, hey, to do this right now, what could I do? What is the first step? We ask ourselves one question. What is the first action we can take? What is the first? Not what is all of the actions. What is the first? What is the first action we can take right now? So in this case, maybe the first action we could take, which is going to be the easiest, is go for walks, right? Maybe if I start walking and I wake up in the morning and I wake up 10 minutes earlier and I go for a walk first thing in the morning, this activity will be checked off. And the nice part about doing one activity at a time, and what is the first activity or what is the easiest action to do, it starts a snowball effect of positive action. So instead of trying to go in full bore like most people do and say, hey, I got to do this, and this, you focus on one. You focus on one attainable and easy to start process, right? Then you get that snowball rolling, and then now all of a sudden you're like, okay, great, I've got some momentum. I've got some self-esteem and self-confidence going here. Now I'm no longer living in this mediocre state where I'm kind of down on myself and feel like I can't do stuff because I'm showing myself I can do positive actions. So those then align to another one. And the next one might be, hey, now we step into the gym 4 times a week and I commit to that. And I start doing it. And then that only takes 1 to 2 days. And then all of a sudden you're adding tracking your food. Right? Boom. And then all of a sudden, while you're tracking your food, you realize that it's easier to plan your food. And now we get to do that. And now when I plan my food, now I don't have my binges because all my food is planned. So now all of a sudden I build a snowball effect and started with the easiest or first action I could take that then aligns with the other actions. And it's like Tetris or Jenga. One block gets pulled out and the other ones will drop, right? That's what we're doing here. And now once we start aligning with this, we add 1, so maybe we add 1 activity and we go to a 5. We add a second activity, we get to a 6. Third activity, we add a 7. Fourth activity, an 8, right? Now we're close. Now we're realizing, oh my God, now we're actually starting to even drop our weight a little bit. Now we're like 138, right? We're getting closer and we're getting closer and closer to our goal and our ideal version of ourselves. So now we just figure out and manipulate what we're already doing to live in a greater potential, right? We're on the right track. So now we can start making better moves and better choices and better actions, because now we're not in the same thought process and actions that were leaving us or leading us here. We're in new thought processes and actions that are leading us to the person we can be, which is our truest potential. Now, once we then reach that, then we feel and can figure out how to stay there. And we have the momentum, and we have the trajectory, and we have the push that we needed to get from where we were to where we wanted to be, and get ourselves from being mediocre. And again, it's not mediocre compared to your friend, or mediocre compared to Bill Gates, or compared to any famous person. It's mediocre compared to your potential. So are you living in your potential? If you're not, here's the simple steps. We just reverse engineer where we want to be, what we want to be, or where we're at, and then we fill in these gaps with the simple and easiest actions we can take on a daily basis to move ourselves forward in that direction of our goal. That's it, guys. That's the simple steps to not living mediocre in your own potential. And that's all it is. It's not about being better than anybody else. It's about being the best version of yourself. And when you're able to be the best version of yourself, no one else matters, because you're living at the greatest potential, doing the things that you want, and having fun and joy inside of everything that you do. Because it has meaning, it has substance, and you're no longer living mediocre, where you're just going by with the flow of things, and just like a leaf on a stream. You are controlling where you're going, you're living with purpose, and you're doing things that actually give you the self-esteem to continue to snowball into bigger, greater, and more important and significant goals for yourself, your life, your friends, your family, and everything you experience.